Welcome to the SIAC Sitdown.
Yes, sir.
I am here with the head Sigma in charge, the one
like
and
that.
only Jamie Walker. How you doing, Jamie?
I'm good, sir. How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing fine, man. I'm doing fine. You know, me being the impartial journalist that I am, I'll be on the show today getting ready as we break down last week's action in the SIAC. A lot of stuff going on, man. I don't even need to play with it, man.
Let's jump right into it, man. It's a lot going on in the SIAC.
We jump straight into this thing, man. We want to start off. Let's start off a game I did. You don't mind?
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay. Well, I got to go to Legion Field.
You did.
I got to go to the historic Legion Field, the old gray lady, to watch Tuskegee take on Miles. They decided to move that game from Miles. They decided to move it to Tuskegee. And this game went all the way down to the wire. It was a good game, real good game. Tuskegee ended up coming out on top 24-23. Tuskegee ended up having to bring in a new quarterback. I think this was quarterback number 4, for Tuskegee. I think it was quarterback number 4, senior Michael Franklin. Michael Franklin came in and played a pretty decent game and took out Miles. Now, Miles, you got to call Miles earlier in the season, so you saw Miles. This is my first time seeing Miles in person, and I did not know they had 72 freshmen on that team.
Yes, they were young, man, and had talked about that throughout the year, man, when it came to just how this team was going to be kind of settling in. Even though this time of the year you wouldn't think they were as young, yes, they had an entire freshman offensive line, freshmen playing in key spots. So, yeah, coming in, they were an incredibly young team.
Well, big time performance out of that game. Tuskegee had a youngster by the name of Parker Preston. He had 8 catches for 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oh, no, we need to correct that. He had 3 touchdowns, 8 catches for 3 touchdowns. Well, we're going to have to correct that whole.
Yeah, the whole graphic.
We'll do that in the post-edit. We'll do it in the post-edit. Young man had a big-time game, Parker Preston did, and he connected with Michael Franklin. Like I said, Michael Franklin was the quarterback, came in. That game came down. Tuskegee jumped out early lead, but those freshmen from Miles, they fought back. They fought strong. No quitting.
No, not at all, man. When you're talking about a team that, again, give Coach Chris Gould his props, started off really, really bad because you weren't accustomed to seeing such a bad Miles squad. But, again, it kind of went with the same pattern as before. Previous coaching regime with head coach Sam Shade, started off taking their lumps as well. And as they begin to kind of go into the mode of what coach wanted to do, they became better. I fully expect this team next year to be better than they were this year. But, again, those freshmen fought. Everyone on that squad kind of started having their buy-in. Too bad they, kind of go out on a 2-game losing streak. But you got to see what this team can potentially be.
Yes, indeed. Well, Tuskegee got the ball in the fourth quarter, drove down the field, scored on their last possession, the go-ahead touchdown, and then Miles had it. Miles tried to convert, got sacked on the 3rd and long, and then on 4th and forever, incomplete pass, and that's your ball game. Tuskegee walks out of there with the win. They take out Miles. Take out Miles at the old gray lady. That's a name for a stadium.
Yeah, I've heard that. Well, listening to that name back in the day, listening to James Verrett say that on a broadcast one time. I'm like, really? That's how they address the stadium, Legion Field? But, I mean, you got to think about what's been played there.
Oh, the history.
You talking about, 100 years, of football in all kinds of divisions and whatnot. So, that's a proper name for it.
It is. Great stadium, great atmosphere to call the game. Crowd wasn't what I was expecting, but, it was still a decent crowd, right? It was 8,000 people.
Okay.
It would have looked better inside of Miles Stadium, but it's still an experience.
We kind of sort of talked about that. Two teams that had greater expectations to a degree. Maybe the crowd kind of reflected that.
Yeah. It was a little sparse over there, but one thing, those bands went at it though.
Yes.
I don't know if the crowd wasn't there, but the band was loud. The bands was out. And congratulations to Tuskegee. One of my pet peeves with Tuskegee is when they play ball and parlay.
Okay.
We often talk about ball and parlay as one of the highlight points.
Hey, listen.
Of HBCU football.
When you hear that song, you attach it to a brand. Absolutely.
But a couple of times the band played ball and parlay after the other team scored. You gotta get that timing down. You gotta get that timing down.
Get that fusion, that synergy with your football team. So yes, absolutely.
But they picked it up. They played it the right time. Played it the right couple of times. Big Pokey was looking down, smiling. There you go. There you go. Now let's go to another one. Another one which was an exciting game, a great game. Benedict College took on Savannah State. Benedict came out to start the game off with. They started it off touchdown straight down the field, first drive. Didn't waste any time. And then it just became a 7-0 stalemate for the longest. It was just 7-0 for the longest amount of time. No one could score. No one could do anything. Then we got to the fourth quarter. Savannah State drove down the field and scored in the fourth quarter. Tie ball game. Ended up getting some free football. Went into overtime. Benedict kicks the field goal to start off with. Savannah State comes back, they kick a field goal, and then you flip possessions. Start of the second overtime. Savannah State is held. They have to kick a field goal, and then the first play, Benedict's second possession. They'll start off in a big, huge run straight down the middle of the field. Tristan Morgan, and look what the man does out the backfield as he goes and runs 25 yards and puts it in the end zone for Tristan Morgan. Big time play. Look at this. Makes a man miss, spins out of a tackle, splits 2 tackles, and walks on into the end zone.
Man, you got to love the running back. You got to love the running back. Talked about really one of the more underrated running back cores in the SIAC in Benedict College when you're talking about Tristan Morgan, Durant, and you're talking about Smith as well. Really not getting the credit they deserve being able to run the ball. But again, it just speaks to the resiliency of Benedict to be able to pull out the game as they advance to the SIAC Championship, and I'm looking forward to that. But also, man, we got to talk about it. As we talk about the ups, we got to talk about them downs. Consistent offense. You've been saying this the entire year when it came to Benedict. And you are, someone that has called their games, that has done a lot when it comes to the university in general. You're a Columbia, South Carolina native. You pull, everybody talks about their non-biases. But of course we got biases. For example, Winston-Salem State, is that guy, Mr. Gaither, and D2 Ferg, they're gonna get that coverage on HBCU Gameday. I get it. I understand this. However, you talked about the offense not being what Benedict has to be if you are championship caliber. Now, they're getting to the game. Will they be able to muster up enough offense? And going against this Savannah State squad, talked about it the week before. Said, they're going to pull away. Not so fast, my friend.
Not so fast.
Because if you can't muster up enough offense, and then you have a team who brought in a true freshman quarterback in Savannah State that played the week before, could they practice enough and get, a game plan enough together to be able to win the game? Hey, almost did, but of course, almost doesn't count.
Look here. I hate to be the guy to call out people.
You do hate to be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy to call somebody out.
You don't.
But sometimes, man, you just got to tell the truth.
Of course you do, Si.
I'm looking at the stats. Quarterback from Benedict, Darius Ocean, he was 15 for 31, 143 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. 3 interceptions. You can't be a championship level quarterback with a performance like that. You just can't. You can't expect your quarterback to lead you or take you to a championship if you're throwing for 143 yards with 3 interceptions. It's just not going to happen.
It's not. And the thing about it is, we kind of knew what this team would be going into this season. Darius Ocean coming over from the CIAA, John C. Smith, very capable quarterback. You know, they were right there in the thick of things when he was playing for the Golden Bulls. And coming down, that experience may have helped some, but I think his play has to improve. Well, not just has to improve, not just that. That's the obvious. But when you're talking about what he has to do to be even in contention in this game, in this championship game, he has to play better. You can't be one-dimensional going into the championship game and expect to win it. So we'll see what happens. But those stats, you're under 50% passing, and you're turning the ball over. You're going against this Albany State squad that's a juggernaut. You got to improve.
You got to improve. And then you look at Savannah State on the other side. If we're going to talk about quarterbacks or lack thereof.
You always talked about they had 7 of them on the roster.
Well,
9, 15.
They played 4 of them last night, or Saturday night. They played 4 of them Saturday night. Fabian Walker, youngster from the Atlanta area, he is stepping up. Young man, he did have a decent game now. He went 14 for 19, 211 yards, no interceptions, no touchdowns. So, you know, it's a good game from young Fabian Walker. But they threw out 3 other quarterbacks. You know, it's just they have to – the defense that Savannah State has, they got to figure out something in the offseason. If you're a quarterback, send in your application. Send your application in to Savannah State if you play quarterback.
And I'm going to tell you what, we've talked about this D2, D1 thing when it comes to quarterback play. You can go find your quarterback somewhere. I mean, not saying you're supposed to jump on somebody's squad, because we do not condone going to other schools and taking their guys. That might be a NCAA violation of some sort. However, whether it be by pigeon or whether it be by some other means, quarterback play has to come. I mean, you just want a competent signal caller to be able to run your offense like you needed to. Don't turn the ball over, things of that nature, and keep your offense going. So if that can happen alongside this championship defense, and, you know, without looking at all the paperwork and looking at all the numbers about who's coming back, if that's what you have, you got to be able to balance that thing out a little bit, man.
All right, let's go to the next one. The next one, we went down to the Coliseum, I think that's what it's called. The Coliseum down there in Albany, and this was a good old-fashioned take a trip behind.
No, it wasn't the Coliseum. It was in Columbus.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Fountain City Classic.
It's the Fountain City Classic. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. It's the Fountain City Classic. Well, it don't matter where they played it.
Nah, pretty much.
It don't matter where they played it. They could have played in my backyard. It was still a take behind the woodshed moment. They took them behind the woodshed, 48-3. 48-3. Shout out to Just Ja Sports. We get a lot of graphics and stuff.
Ja the GOAT.
From Just Ja, man.
Yes.
We appreciate everything Ja does. But 48-3 behind the woodshed. Behind the woodshed.
There's not much analysis.
Where's my producer? Producer, I done said behind the woodshed 5 times.
Man,
we got the world's worst producer. We'll have to put it in the post edit.
We'll have to. But man, when Coach Watson, my guy, you know what it is. You know what it is.
He let down all the signals.
No, he did not.
He let the signals down.
Look, I mean, he'll understand it. Listen.
Hey, they beat him to the window, to the
wall. Look. I mean, he'll understand the importance of this game going forward. He understood it beforehand, and again, I called their game the week before, and they understood it. They were looking forward to it, but they must have looked at the show and said, "Oh, y'all looking at us now before your game? Okay, we're gonna show you." And clearly they did, and it was a thing of good old fashioned butt whooping. And at the end of the day, there's really not much you can say. A couple of quarterbacks played, and you had an injured QB for them, and you as well as they played the week before, being able to muster up enough offense and be able to go with a balanced attack and have your defense play well. Albany State just showed they are championship ready.
And this is the thing, the defense had 3 interceptions. They took the interception back for a touchdown. They had 5 sacks on defense, man. Albany State's really good. They are really, really good. So we're going to find out a whole lot more in the next couple of weeks now. We'll preview these next games.
We will, but there's a question I'm going to pose to the other D2 show. You know, those CIAA guys. I got a question for you after all this settles out. We may ask that question. We're going to find out.
We ask it because it is D2 Wednesdays.
It is D2 Wednesdays. We got to wait for the championship games to kind of settle up. But who's better? Who's better?
Well,
which one of these championship squads are better?
The record shows. SIAC is on top of the CIAA this year. 4-2. We don't count. We don't count Morehouse, so that game doesn't really count. So it's 4-2. 4-2. All right, the next game, the battle for the Bishop's Love, the AME Classic. This is it. The battle for the Bishop's Love. The AME Classic took place in Winsboro, South Carolina, not Columbia. Winsboro, South Carolina. Edward Waters got taken behind the woodshed.
That's a heck of a graph right there.
That is. Shout out to the that was actually on the Allen University on the SIAC network. The SIAC network. So that was the graphic on the SIAC network, but it was the AME Classic, Allen University 53, Edward Waters 30. 53-30, Edward Waters got taken behind the woodshed.
Man, yeah. Oh, there. Uh-oh.
Showing that they winning the AME trophy. I don't know what the name of the trophy is, but that's Coach Pearl. Coach Pearl with his guys up there holding up the trophy.
Do they get to sit up front in church?
Yeah, I think
week or something?
I think they get to sit up front in church.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the win for them.
I'm just checking, man. You know, I mean, if you win the battle on the AME, you should get something.
Half of the tithes go to Allen.
Never.
That'll never happen. That'll never happen. Oh, shout out to John Terrius Thomas. John Terrius Thomas, running back for Edward Waters. Bright spot in this game. Young man had 15 carries, 105 yards, didn't score a touchdown, but he got over 1,000 yards on the year. He had, I think, 1,005 on the year. He is the first Edward Waters rusher, athlete, football player to rush for 1,000 yards. He is the all-time single-season record holder at Edward Waters. Shout out to John Terrius Thomas.
Absolutely, man. That tandem with him and Tillman, man. You know, as much as we talk about Edward Waters throwing the ball all around the yard, that running back tandem has made their passing game so much better, and their offense, you know, so much better. It can score points. There were some inconsistencies there, and I think, you know, people started to catch up with some of the things that they did, but, you know, they had a heck of an offense, man. I you know, since the days of Jaron Russell, one of my favorite Edward Waters quarterbacks, you know, they really had all the tools and all the makings to be a really good football team. Kind of faltered sometime, you know, at the end, but, you know, heck of a season, man. Heck of a season. You know, unfortunately, it came up short against Allen. Unfortunately, depending on which your side of it is, but again, heck of a season. They were right up there in the thick of things in the SIAC. All
right. Now, also, since we're talking about John Terrius Thomas, you got to talk about Fabian Duncan.
Yes,
Fabian Duncan, running back for Allen. This game, young man didn't quite get 100. He had 14 carries for 82 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. He was 1 touchdown short of that Al Bundy special. 1 touchdown short of the Al Bundy special. He is now the all-time leading single-season rusher for Allen University, and he also holds the all-time record for touchdowns, single-season touchdowns for Allen University. So congratulations to young Fabian Duncan, and he actually has one more game to play too. So
he does.
He may be able to tack on some more yardage to that situation, but we'll talk about that later on. We'll talk about that later on in the broadcast. Now, we got those two what does SJG like to call it, BTAs?
Yes.
BTAs?
Yes.
Got those out of the way. Got to make room for one more BTA. That's Kentucky State. Kentucky State traveled to Jackson, Tennessee, and oh my goodness, the score 55-0. 55-0. Kentucky State took Lane behind the woodshed. It was ugly.
Yeah, that's tough, man. There's not much you could say about Lane at all. 0-10 season, tough under Coach Connor, and again, he knows how to turn around programs, but when you're trying to implement your own way of doing things, trying to turn a program around, it is one of those things where you have to take your lumps early. But like all coaches, say, hey, you better get me early. You better get me early, and we'll see if he can, right the ship next year. But tough season for Lane. But for Kentucky State, however, hey, man.
Hey, Kentucky State, a chance.
Yes.
A chance to make it to the Division II playoffs. They will be playing a game this week. We're going to preview it later on. They will be playing a game. But Kentucky State did not have the most sensational game passing from Denham Johnson. He was 16 for 29, 181 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. But the running game, Chad Elsley, he had 11 carries, 110 yards for 1 touchdown. They just beat them. I don't know.
How to really call it, man. The numbers really just don't indicate how dominant they were. But it's just one of those things where their collection of offense, man, just gives all defenses fits. And they went in and did what they were supposed to do. So got to give them their credit.
All right. Now we'll go back. Let's see what else we have. We did Edward Waters in Allen, Albany State, Fort Valley, Tuskegee, Miles. We already talked about that. Talked about Benedict, Savannah State. Talked about Lane and Kentucky State. What else left?
Your favorite team.
Morehouse
College. I like it.
Morehouse took on Clark Atlanta. Let me sit up for this one right here. Morehouse took on Clark Atlanta. And, battle of the AUC.
What happened, Sly? What happened?
Man, 48-45. And I tell you, this was a game. I was in Alabama, so I couldn't watch the game. So I'm riding back down the highway. At first I was listening to the fifth quarter of the Miles Tuskegee. I listened to the fifth quarter of the Miles Tuskegee, and I was watching the game at the same time. At halftime, I decided to get on in my car and head on home. So I'm listening to the game on the way home. Shout out to A.D. Drew and Keisha J. Kelly.
I was going to say that, man. Go ahead. Go with the game first.
They had the last-minute call. They got the last-minute call to call the game. And as I'm listening to the game, at first I'm checking it out. The score 21-0, Clark on top. I'm like, oh, my goodness, Clark about to run away with this thing, make it look ugly. Is Teddy Keaton going to run the score up on the boys from across the street? Well, no quit in those Maroon Tigers. Those Maroon Tigers fought. And they ended up bringing this thing all the way back. They brought it all the way back, and Clark just had that last drive. Clark just scored 1 field goal too much for them, and they ended up winning 48-45. But you're talking about some performances, some individual performances this game. Xavier Johnson, young man, was 25 for 35, 298 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jalen Samuels, the running back from Clark Atlanta, he was 10 for 73. He had 1 touchdown. Leading receiver, Amon Harris, he had 9 receptions, 79 yards, and a touchdown. But if you look over on that Morehouse side, you talk about a performance out of a young man. Miles Scott.
Yeah.
Single season passing record for Morehouse. He completed his 17th touchdown pass. But this young man was 20 for 41, 344 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then he had 14 carries for 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. You see, that's that last touchdown he had, carrying a man on his back into the end zone. Young man accounted for 556 yards, 6 touchdowns. What a performance.
You got to give him his due, man. He's been playing and has been showing his ability since he stepped on the field at Morehouse, man. It is just one of those things where his quality quarterback play has really elevated everything that Morehouse is able to do. When you're talking about just what they're able to do offensively, it's not a question of whether or not they could set the tone. Last year, they didn't score the points that they needed to do or needed to achieve. But this year, under the second year of Terrence Mathis, they elevated that brand, man. They elevated that football team and turned into what was – you see this? You see this? He's back on the
I'm back on the
You back
Morehouse.
on the train. But I'm going to interrupt that for a second. A.D. Drew and Keisha Kelly. Outstanding job in relief. Here was the secret. We went back to last week's show. You would discover that I said I would possibly be calling it. Well, unfortunately, with them changing the football time of the game, my anniversary was last Saturday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My 17th anniversary, me and my bride, LaToya, who is a Clark graduate. We had our anniversary. We had some plans, so I could not call the game. So in quick relief was A.D. Drew of Black College Sports Network and Keisha Kelly of Black College Experience. Stepped in, did yeoman's work, did an outstanding job. Thank you. Justin Mordecai, I apologize. We got stuff miscommunicated, but it happened anyway, and it ended up being a phenomenal game.
And shout out to the student. I don't know the student's name, but it was a student who started off the game.
Yes.
Calling the game, young lady, too. We want to give you a shout out, too. Don't know your name, so I can't give you a shout out. But you did good, too.
Also, man, we talked about it. Panther Sports.
I love it.
CAU TV, they do an outstanding job of broadcasting that game. Or broadcasting that game.
You know what? Interesting. The 2 student-ran networks, the Maroon Tiger Sports Network and the Panther Sports Network, I think those might be the 2 best student-ran networks in the conference.
For sure.
In the conference. That Golden Tiger Sports Network is probably the best network in the conference.
We can have a whole conversation about that. Yes.
Shout out to Charles over there. But the best student-ran networks are definitely Clark Atlanta, or the Panther. Was it Panther Vision or Panther Sports?
Panther Sports Vision, I think.
Panther Sports Vision Network
and
the Maroon Tiger Sports Network. So, but anyway, it was a great game.
Yes.
It was a great game. It was exciting. They had a house full of people. It went down to the end. Everybody got their money's worth. You got your money's worth.
For the city, for sure.
They definitely put on for the city. So shout out to both of those teams. Shout out to both of those guys. And I'm still a Morehouse fan.
He is. What a mug. Oh, thought you dropped it and broke it last week or something. That's right there. Was Kool-Aid, Flavor Aid? Which one is it this week?
And sip it.
They lost the game, though, man.
Oh, yeah, you lost. Sorry.
It's all right.
Y'all lost. I can't. I can't
quite do it.
You
Good
lost.
shit.
Yeah, put that down. They lost.
There you go.
They lost. Oh, well. Got to wear the Clark stuff
ahead.
Since they won. Hey, man, I'm a front runner. I'm a front runner. I'm riding with whoever's in front, baby. I'm riding with whoever's in front. All right, well, that was all our games this week.
It was.
I'm not sure if we want to speak on it this week. I think we should acknowledge, because we have our own awards.
Yes.
We have the SIAC Sitdown Awards at the end of the year. And those are the most important awards of the year. Now, the conference did give out some awards. Now, the conference gave out a few awards. Those are ancillary. Is that the word I want to use?
Yeah, you could. In comparison to what we give out,
exactly.
They're important. I'll acknowledge them as such. But the SIAC Sit Down, wars, man. Listen, you talking about top notch.
Join us next week.
Absolutely.
Join us next week for the SIAC Sitdown Awards. But we will give you, the conference did put out their awards, and overall player of the year, MVP. Guess.
Fabian Duncan.
Fabian Duncan.
Look at that.
Fabian Duncan, young man from Allen University, running the ball and just running over people.
Because you know why they're going to run the ball, right?
Because the P stand, what the P stand for?
Hey, stands for power.
The P stand for power. Coach Pearl said the P stand for power.
That's right.
All right. Now, Offensive Player of the Year was Isaiah Knowles. Isaiah Knowles, Offensive Player of the Year. I think, okay.
Let's see if you're thinking what I'm thinking.
Isaiah Knowles, he missed 3 games.
Here we go.
You know, he had a decent year. I mean, but to be honest, Fabian Duncan should have won the Offensive Player of the Year and the MVP. That's what I believe.
I share your sentiments, especially with him missing 3 games.
Yeah, with him missing the 3 games.
I understand the argument. I won't argue the point, but I understand the argument when it comes to him missing the games. So, yeah, because you very well could have jumped up. There's a couple of wide receivers up in Kentucky.
Yeah.
There might even be, well, I'm not going to say a quarterback in Kentucky only because they split that time.
Yeah, they split a lot of time.
But, hey, Denham Johnson's come in and done a well of a job.
But I don't think he's Offensive Player of the Year that well.
Right.
He's done really good.
Yes.
But Offensive Player of the Year, slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down. But, congratulations to Isaiah Knowles, man. He did have an awesome season. And now the Defensive Player of the Year. Now, for me, this was probably the only no-brainer. Well, if Fabian was a no-brainer, but Dominique Davis from Central State won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
That might have been – it wasn't any question whatsoever. That kid should have been Defensive Player of the Year.
Tackles, interceptions.
You
name it, he did it.
That kid was there.
Yes.
That kid was there. Dominique Davis is a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
He is a linebacker. And not only was he good this year, he's been good the past 3 years. Past 3 years, he's been the best linebacker in the conference the past 3 years. So shout out to Dominique Davis from Central State. Now, Freshman of the Year and also Newcomer of the Year.
Gotta do it.
Xavier Jackson. Xavier Jackson was the Freshman of the Year and the Newcomer of the Year, and I like that.
Yes.
I like that because, I'm not a big transfer guy, but I understand why transfers happen. I get it, but I don't think a transfer should win an award, being a Newcomer of the Year. But luckily enough, though, we had a true freshman come in and lead the league in passing yards and didn't even play he didn't play the first 3 games of the season.
Yeah, man.
He missed the first 3 games of the season because Isaiah McDonald was the starting quarterback, and then Zai got hurt. So kudos to that young man, Xavier Jackson. Xavier Jackson from Clark, Atlanta, was your Freshman of the Year and Newcomer of the Year.
You got to give him kudos, man, for a couple of different reasons. Got really thrusted in the spotlight due to injury. You had Zion McDonald transferring from Jackson State, who was supposed to be, that person that was leading the charge this year for that Clark Atlanta offense. And due to injury, here comes Xavier Jackson. And one of the things that you did not see from him, even when you had maybe the offense break down a little bit, he get hit. Because I'm telling you, I called the game against Benedict.
Ooh, he
could have very well folded and said, yo, I'm through with this.
Mm-hmm.
But you never saw him flustered on the sidelines, got back up, dusted himself off, came and played. Great addition. Great addition to that squad. Great play. Looking forward to seeing what he does for the rest of his career.
Yeah, I tell you what, boy, after that Benedict game, if he would have called, that's one of them days you call out for work the next day, boy, I tell you.
Icy hot and all the things, yes.
My goodness, that boy got hit that game. But ended up holding on, leading the league in passing. Now, Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year, for me, this award is always, it seems like traditionally it's gone to the coach that wins the championship. They always give it to the coach that wins the championship. And I thought that was kind of wrong. Sometimes I thought it was some other coaches who had to dig deeper to actually win. but they did not get Coach of the Year. But this year, I think the conference got it right. Coach of the Year, Felton Huggins Jr. from Kentucky State. He won Coach of the Year. What he did at Kentucky State, guiding them to a 9-1 Division II record and a 9-2 overall record. What he did was amazing. Coming into this season, wasn't really high expectations out of Kentucky State. I said they were going to be a sleeper. I said they were going to be a team to watch.
You did?
But I had them picked to finish fourth or fifth, I think, maybe fifth. I had them picked maybe fifth. I said they'd be a team to watch, but I didn't think they would be a team with a chance to win the conference championship. And, you know, what he does with Kentucky State, they're underfunded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't have the same money that a Tuskegee has or a Morehouse or a Clark or Benedict has. They have their own set of financial issues. And the way he made that team into a winner, he had two quarterbacks. He had Denham Johnson, who was your returning starter, who had some success. Didn't have he kind of fell off, cooled off a little bit. He brought in a transfer. And then he managed to make those two work. He managed to make those two work together. They were splitting snaps or however he did it. Both were getting equal amount of time. Both were shining. Both were making each other look good. And he kept winning. He kept winning, brought in that freshman running back, Elsie. Elsie got out there looking like a man sometimes, looking like a grown man. Bright future for that kid, Elsie. And he just kept winning. That's all he kept doing. He just kept winning. He kept beating people. It looked like they got better and better. They started out the year against Central State, and it was a relatively close game. They played that one in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Relatively close game against Central State. I think it was 24-14 or something like that.
Yeah.
or maybe
34-24.
34-24. Something like that, all right? Got better, got better, got better, got better, and now he has a chance to make the Division II playoffs. A possibility that the SIAC could get 3 teams in the Division II playoff. That's never happened.
Right.
2 teams, I don't know how many times that's happened. But to get 3 in, well, that is crazy.
Yes.
That is crazy. Shout out to Coach Huggins.
Yeah, Coach Huggins, man, it is. And you got to think about the entire journey when it comes to Coach Huggins. A complete conversion of the entire offense when he stepped in. A triple option attack to a run and shoot attack, more of a spread offensive set. And it took a while for him to implement his guys to be able to run that type of offense. But even within that, he adjusted to personnel. And within his first year, started giving certain teams fits. It was a thing of, coaching them up, interacting with the players, really setting a team culture. And we talked about it every year since he's been there, how the team would grow within him and him grow as a coach as well. And so, this year I think that is the proper choice for Coach of the Year, absolutely, because I think, and they're not done yet. It's a thing where he has done a phenomenal job, and you got to sing his praises for it.
I'm telling you, man, shout out to Coach Huggins. Congratulations on winning Coach of the Year. Now, once again, those are the SIAC awards, the individual awards. You can go to thesiac.com, if you want to see the complete list of everyone who is first team and second team all conference. You can go to the website and check it out. But those are the conference awards.
Yes.
The real awards will be given out next week.
They will.
The real awards will be given out next
will.
week. And we will tell you who are the real award winners here on the SIAC Sitdown.
That's right.
The coveted, these guys I would take with me to walk through a dark alley award.
Yes.
Is coming out also.
Yes, it will.
That will be announced. Well, that's the end of the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
We still got a couple more games left.
We do have a couple more games.
Still got a couple more games left. And thanks to the new deal that was struck with the Conference Carolinas, there will also be an extra 2 games at the end of the year, and we will be taking on a Conference Carolina team. There's a little bit of confusion about this game. A lot of people were not familiar with the game. They didn't know it existed, but the game has been in existence since they signed the contract early last year.
Yes, early last year. I want to emphasize that.
Early last year,
did.
the game was signed, and the two commissioners from the conference, they had a couple of factors that went into selecting the game. A couple of the factors were it could be the third or the fourth place team, but it's also a commissioner's choice. Now, also something else about the game is also based on a little bit of distance. If it's financially makes sense for a team to travel that far to play a game. It's also based on postseason eligibility also. So if a team isn't eligible to play a game after the end of the season, they cannot play in this game. So that's how they ended up with the game. And the first game is Kentucky State will be taking on Shorter. Kentucky State will be taking on Shorter. To get a chance to see how well the SIAC fares outside of the SIAC. And the second game is Erskine. Erskine, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. And they're from South Carolina, too.
I know.
But they
Due West, aren't they?
Due West, South Carolina.
Yes.
But
Erskine?
Erskine.
Okay.
Erskine, might be Erskine.
Okay.
They didn't have a football team when I was growing up.
Wow.
They did. They're a relatively new football team.
I was at the Fleet. I was actually looking at some film, some early film, and kind of maybe in preparation for something.
Okay. Well, Erskine is taking on Allen University, and this game will be in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yes, I saw. We were going.
It will be in Columbia, South Carolina. Let's talk about it then.
Go ahead. You just tell it. You Columbia native.
I think. Well, I had a phone call with Coach Cromartie, the AD over there at Allen, and he said they have struck up a deal with Bowdoin Stadium. Bowdoin Stadium, down the street from C.A. Johnson High School, down the street from Allen University, not too far. If the name Bowdoin sounds familiar, you may be familiar with astronaut Charles Bowdoin. Well, the stadium isn't named after him. It's named after his daddy.
Okay.
It's named after his pa. So yeah, big time guy from C.A. Johnson. If you know anything about Columbia, South Carolina, and C.A. Johnson, it was at one time it was two black schools during segregation. It was two black schools in Columbia, South Carolina. One was Booker T. Washington, and the other one was C.A. Johnson. So C.A. Johnson Historic School, but that is the home stadium of C.A. Johnson in Richland District 1. It is a very beautiful stadium. It's a beautiful stadium. Was remodeled, I think, probably 10 years ago maybe. Put in new bleachers on both sides. Great stadium. They will be playing that home game. Allen will be playing Erskine. Erskine.
We'll Erskine.
Somebody let me know. Let me know in the comments. Hit me in the comments. Let me know how you pronounce that. But they will be playing that game, and it will be at 5 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. Eastern. So should be a good one. Might be a little bit chilly out there too.
It might be. You know what? I'm not gonna talk about the weather because it's not my plans as far as the weather is concerned. I don't dictate the weather.
Okay.
So hopefully it's a little bit warmer than it is currently.
Okay.
I even had to wear pants.
There you go. See, I have on my nice sweater.
I had to, man.
Nice sweater right here.
Look at that, man. Be the reason.
Be the reason. You know, when you beat Morehouse, they give you stuff like this. When you beat Morehouse, they give you stuff, So, oh, well, they wanted to make sure that everybody knew that Clark beat Morehouse.
Yes.
So, there you go. All right. Now, this is a game we all care about.
Okay.
The game we all care about.
Talk about it.
The championship game. Benedict will be traveling to Albany.
Look at there.
I ain't got it right. Albany. They'll be traveling to Albany to take on the Albany State Golden Rams for a rematch in the SIAC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Last game was a taken behind the woodshed butt cutting.
It was.
What do you think about this game?
I think it'll be closer, but I still think Albany State wins. When you're playing somebody twice and you get their tendencies and things of that nature, I think the game should be closer. You know that opponent. Also, Benedict has a dominant side of the ball. I'm not going to discount their defense. Still not gonna discount their defense and knowing what's at stake here. But I still think Albany State, with all those returners and all that experience, still wins the game. But I think it's just closer than it was before.
Yeah, I won't laugh too hard. Because of Benedict's defense. Because of Benedict's defense, it'll be close. But Benedict has no offense. They have. I don't know. Benedict had one offensive explosion all year, and that was against Clark. But here's the thing: that one offensive explosion against Clark, they still scored 3 touchdowns on defense and 1 touchdown on special teams. So Benedict's offense has been non-existent all year, and you expect to come into the conference championship game, and you expect to beat one of the hottest teams in the nation. It's not going to happen. You got a quarterback who's thrown 100 interceptions the past 3 weeks. You know, every time you turn around, he's throwing the ball to the other team. You know, somebody check and see if he need glasses.
Man, not the specs.
I got some he can use, brother. You know, I don't know where he's throwing the ball to. He threw 3 last week.
We'll see. We will see.
And you're going to play a team like Albany State with a defense like that,
who is very opportunistic.
They took one back for a touchdown too.
They did.
You know, Albany State is, as much as we talk about Benedict's defense, Albany State's defense is right there. They're right there. Now, Albany State offense does take naps every now and then.
They do.
They will take a nap every now and then. But I think Isaiah knows when he goes to when he plays Benedict, Isaiah might have a chip on his shoulder now. If we look back 3 years ago. Albany State played Benedict in the conference championship here in Atlanta.
They did. At
Lakewood Stadium. And Benedict ran through them. Benedict beat them like they stole something.
Which I think is the other X factor in this. Quinn Gray knows what this is and knows what the stakes are. Now, I think in that particular game, his first year at Albany State, I think it wasn't the team. He was still, a lot of that squad, Gabe Gardenia's players.
Yeah, they backdoored their way into the championship.
Yeah, yes.
They backdoored their way into the championship.
They did. And so he knows going in, he has his guys, he has what he wants. And so I think that is the other X factor going into this game. So they should win the game. I have no doubts. I think if Benedict, scores on defense early, I think their defense is their best offense going into this. And if they can play sound defense against Albany State, and Albany State does have that hiccup, it could be a close one. But I think Albany State has everything it takes, and playing at home, they should win the game.
Well, they should. They should. And then another thing too, those juniors and seniors on the Albany State team, they were there.
They were.
They were on the sideline when Benedict was taking them behind the woodshed. And I'm pretty sure they remember that. I'm pretty sure they remember how Benedict beat them like they stole something. And the score of that championship game should have been worse.
Yes.
Because I vividly remember one of the last few plays of that game, Benedict actually threw a touchdown pass, hit the receiver in his hand.
The worst place ever.
In the end zone. Mm-hmm. It bounced off his hands, and then the Albany State guy got an interception. So you should have tacked on 7 more points to that butt cutting. But they didn't, because they end up getting the interception. So I do think those Albany State kids remember that. I think they are like, oh, okay, I remember what you did to me. And it didn't feel well. It didn't feel good at all. At all. So now, time for some get back. So I see that happening. I think Albany State is going to get that get back.
Okay.
They're going to get it.
All right. We'll see. We will see.
Well, it went a little bit quicker than I thought it did.
It did go a little bit quicker, but I tell you what, man, I don't know if I'm feeling a little down, man. Season winding down.
It's winding down, bro.
It really is. And it's been fast, a little too fast almost.
A little too fast.
But we still got some bonus football going.
We still do. We
got these 3 games next week, and then, off to the playoffs. And then we'll see what happens in anybody's game. Yes, playoffs. But it's been a blast, man.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to come back next week. We're going to talk about these 3 games.
We are.
But most importantly, we are going to talk about we are going to have it would be the inaugural.
Mm-hmm.
That's the word I'm
It
looking for?
would be. Good job.
Okay.
Outstanding.
All right, thank you. You know, I ain't go to A&T, but I'm pretty smart myself now.
Well, I mean, yes, you are.
Okay, all right.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we will have the inaugural SIAC Sitdown Awards show where we will give out awards. We will give out awards like the all-name team, some people who have some great names.
Yes.
You know, we got a defensive end from Savannah State. He has a great name. He's nominated. He might be one of the winners. We will give these guys I will walk through a dark alley with award. We'll give a couple of those. And they might be some monsters.
Yes.
They might be some monsters.
There's no doubt about that.
Some monsters on that team. We got some other awards we're going to give out, man. We'll give out the real MVP.
Yes.
You know, offensive, defensive MVP. We'll give out the special teams. We won't give out the guy who shouldn't be on the team award. We won't give that. Should we? We should give out the guy who needs to have his scholarship taken away award.
The librarian at Morehouse.
Oh.
That should be an award.
The librarian?
The librarian at Morehouse.
Okay.
You know, always left the door open.
He always
for Miles Scott to be able to go.
There you go. To go get some players. We appreciate
Yes.
that librarian at Morehouse. Oh, well, check this out. It's been another great episode of the SIAC Sit Down. He is Jamie Walker.
I am he.
I am Sylvester Williams.
That is him.
This is the SIAC Sit Down on HBCU Gameday. We'll see you next week.